10x current solution using first principles. One of the ways in which you can come up with new business ideas is to use the 10x framework, where you resort to the so-called first principles. This is the favorite method of Elon Musk. Here we don't look for incremental changes, but we crave for a major breakthrough. There are three main ways in which you can improve existing businesses. Before you start looking for ways to 10x the product, you should decide which dimension is the most important to you. So, you can try to 10x the speed, in other words, to make your product or service 10 times faster than current solutions. You can also try to 10x the performance, in other words, to make your product or service 10 times better than current solutions. Finally, you can try to 10x price or cost, in other words, to make your product or service 10 times cheaper than current solutions. Let's have a look at some examples. IKEA is much faster and cheaper than the competitors. Dell, McDonald's also bet on those two dimensions. Uber is trying to address the three dimensions: be cheaper, faster, and better. However, this makes him more vulnerable to the competition with the same big pockets as they. And finally, Apple, when was introducing its products, concentrated only on two dimensions, being 10 times better and being 10 times faster. What paths you will choose is entirely up to you. However, the fewer dimensions you are trying to bet on, the more likely is your success. Now, let's try to define actually how to 10x your product or a service in practice. Usually when Elon Musk tries to explain it, he uses the concept of first principles, the undeniable truths, the undeniable facts. We found that explanation a bit vague and also not easy to act upon. So, let's have a look at our attempt to build a framework that will help you use this technique in practice. The first step is to identify what you want to improve. As we have said, there are three main dimensions on which you can work. I would strongly suggest not to bet on all of them at the same time. Pick one, at most two. So, think about whether you want your product or service to be cheaper, faster or better. Select one or up to two features you want to improve and move to step 2. In the second step, we will try to identify the business drivers of the business, or specific feature we want to improve. This will later help us look, in a smarter way, for different ways to improve tenfold the feature of the product or a service that we have decided to concentrate on. Very important is the third stage, during which you estimate the impact of the drivers on your business. At this stage, we want to identify how specific drivers affect your business and your results. I suggest doing some rough estimation using bottom-up approach, preferably in Excel, so you can play with the assumptions in the search of the Holy Grail. Once you have the simplified model in Excel, you can look for optimal combinations that will help you achieve your goal. In other words, you want to find out what has to change in terms of each and every driver, to achieve the goal of improving tenfold the specific feature, cost, speed, or customer satisfaction. In the fourth stage, you have to select what and how you would like to change. From the previous stage, you know what will help you achieve your goals. Now, you have to decide on what drivers and actions you want to concentrate on. Therefore, you should in this step choose a few drivers that you want to change to make your product cheaper, better or faster. You also should decide how you would like to change them. In the final step, you simply implement the changes. Since we have used a lot of rough estimations and guessing, there will be a lot of discrepancies between what we have estimated and the reality. That's why, remember to monitor the progress of changes during and after the implementation, to be sure that you have achieved your goal. If something is not working, act fast and decisively. To sum up, we first decide what we want to improve, then we identify the drivers. We use those drivers to roughly estimate what we should concentrate on to achieve our goals and what sort of actions will give us the biggest impact. Once we have a clarity, or at least the illusion of clarity, we can pick the things we will change in our product and service to achieve our goals, and we implement them. The reality will definitely surprise us, so monitor the performance and act. I know that this may still sound a bit vague, so let's have a look at two case studies. We will first try to reduce water consumption using our framework. Later on we will try to decrease the cost per one seat. Those examples will help you understand and use the framework in practice.